One of the reasons why I took down my old social media posts and and YouTube channel to create a new one under an anonymous name had to do with the amount of hate that I was receiving from the heathen community in the last decade. And I want to share some, just to share what I had seen about a decade ago and what was impressed upon me by the Norse gods in my journeys and visions, and the consequences of certain actions and alliances. Unfortunately, people made this political. I did not mean to make my visions political. I really wanted to keep it as expressing the energetic, and it I I had taken down my posts and my old prophecies because it obviously did not set well with a lot of heathen people. And I think there's a lot of education and a lot of healing that needs to happen in the heathen community. And I also needed time to learn how to express myself in a better way, to sit with these visions and prophecies and what I saw and learn how to retell them to heathens, to explain that when we embody certain energies, we create certain outcomes. And those outcomes and those energies are listed in our lore for a reason. In Norse lore, the goddess Idunna, she is originally listed as a daughter of Ivaldi, who is one of the most famous of dwarves. And she is also a personification of the solar deity Suna. And she is this very powerful goddess who created golden apples. And those apples were filled with so much magical energy that when the gods ate them, they, they kept their mortality. There is a story in which Loki sold Iduna to a giant named Thiazi, who was Skadi's father. And this giant wanted to put her in a cave. And she was not able to cultivate her orchard. She was not able to, provide nourishment and love to others. And also, she was not able to heal or nourish the Norse gods. And they begin to age and wither. And they realized that they would die out if they did not rescue Iduna. And so, of course, there was a giant rescue attempt, and they were able to convince Loki, who then was able to rescue her and to reclaim his mistakes. And there is also a story called Hrafnagaldr Odins, of which the gods had sinned against the elves and the worlds in such a way that Dane, one of the rune masters and elves of Ljosalfheim, and also he represents the northern energy, so Nordri, the northern wind, who protects Yggdrasil itself, created a spell to freeze over the Well of Erd. So this storm shook Yggdrasil, which caused Iduna to fall from Asgard and wander in Midgard as a human. And the gods were like, we need to go get Iduna back. We need to get her. And so they traveled to Midgard to get Iduna in the guise of a human woman. And she screamed and would not come back with them because they frightened her. And then if you look in the third aspect, if you look in the Skaldskaparmal, which is a book of kennings written by Snorri Sturluson, the apple, or the symbol of the apple, or the walnut, which is what, when Iduna was rescued, she was also turned into a walnut to transport out of Thiazi's cave. So she's associated with walnuts and with apples. The walnut and the apple is the symbol of the heart. And it's the symbol of the ability to fully express oneself and to feel completely safe and loved. And when I was studying Norse lore, I was on, this is about 14, 15 years ago. I had all these visions of Idunna, and she had come to me and was guiding me through a lot of my journey. And I worked a lot with Freya, Idunna, and Heimdall. And they would come to me in my dreams, and Idunna especially would look very sad. And she told me that she didn't want to tell me the news, but she said that she hoped that I could help, the heathen people, to help the souls from Asgard that are walking around in Midgard here in this reality field. And she said basically that anyone who is in the energy that does not support the divine feminine to fully flourish will wither, and will also be they will also be they will lose the protections of Asgard. So it's hard to describe, but if you are attracted to Norse lore and Norse cosmology and the runes, most likely your soul at some point lived in Asgard. Asgard it's in the ninth dimension. It's in one of the higher dimensions. It's what some people will call the higher angelic realms. And it's there are souls that have ascended in the past, and they had come back to Midgard. They come back into this reality field and incarnate as humans, sometimes animals as well, and plants as well. I was told that some Asgardians, they will actually incarnate as important trees in history. And so anyway, these souls that have come from Asgard, has come from this ninth dimensional reality field, when you come down to Midgard, you get really confused and you can't remember, because of the density of what it means to be in a physical body. You forget like that you're Asgardian. But you remember certain things and you're attracted to certain things. And that's why the gods, as they ascend, they left us breadcrumbs of their stories, which remind us of Asgard, where we come from. And that's why the runes, like, you'll be attracted to the runes, you'll be attracted to things that are Viking, you'll be attracted to things that are Norse, you'll be attracted to Norse music, the sound of Old Norse, the sound of Scandinavian languages. You will be drawn to them, and it doesn't matter what your body looks like. I know many people who are not even European who are drawn to Viking magic and to the gods, and it's because their soul is Asgardian. Any Asgardian can incarnate in physical body here in Midgard. And so you're walking around Midgard and you're trying to get back home. That's what you want. It's what your soul wants to. You want to reunite, because some souls, they can get lost for a long time. They can get lost in these lower dimensions, and there are much lower dimensions you can go descend to. And a big part of Scythe and runes and the training that I learned and teach is about going into these underrealms and picking up the fractals of self. And to reintegrate them into the self, so that you can actually begin the ascension back upwards to return back to Asgard. And so Idunna was telling me that she was the central figure about how to reclaim the connections with the higher self and the connections with the Asgardian self. And without her, the souls would stay lost and stay disconnected from their own soul's magic, basically. So without the protection and the guidance and the nourishment of Idunna, a soul from Asgard literally has no power anymore. They lose all of their power. I'll continue this in part 2.